So here we're going to start the examples for page 108 through 109, and yeah, let's see what happens here, and we're going to see we're going to do this. It's we've already seen this before actually. It's really simple. We're taking the square root already, so we don't have to put in the plus or minus. But when we have a negative on the inside, this is super important, then we have an I on the outside. So here, the square root of 81, that would be normally 9. But we have the square root of negative 81, so it's just 9i. 9i, that's it. That's all. When you have a negative on the inside, it becomes an I on the outside. And we don't do plus or minus, and some people are like, wait, this is confusing. Why? Why not? That's because all we're doing here is look. We're not putting in the square root. The square root is already there. If we were the ones putting in the square root, then we do plus or minus. Okay, enough with that. Then we have this. Well, I have the negative, so that comes out as an I. That's for sure already. And 24. I'm going to try and write 24 as a perfect square. Can I do that? I know I can do 8 times 3, but neither of those are perfect squares, so I don't want to do that. 4 times 6. That'll work, right? And if I square root all of those, just like I'm doing, I get 2, so 2 on the outside, and square root of 6 is just the square root of 6. So we leave that. So what am I doing? So this is the answer. What am I doing? First, I'm trying to rewrite 24 as a perfect square times something else. That's how I got the 4 and the 6. Then I take the square root of that perfect square. So I take the square root, I get the 2. And this is not a perfect square, so it stays on the inside, and I get to just leave the 6. So that's it. That's all there is to it. The negative on the inside comes outside as an I, because it's an imaginary number. There is no number that when you multiply it by itself, that gives you a negative. Alright, let's do the same thing. I'm pretty much, you know what, let's circle this, because I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to ignore it for now. Select, there we go. Ignore it for now. And we're going to do the same exact thing. In fact, you should probably pause it and try it on your own. Try it on your own. 28. How can I rewrite 28? And, well, I know, first of all, there's going to be an I on the outside. But how can I write 28 as a perfect square times something else? 4 times 7. And I'm square rooting all of that. And again, it comes out as a 2. And on the inside, there's a 7. But, look at this. So now I'm not going to ignore it. That's why I circled it. So I have still a negative 2 out here. And I'm multiplying. This is multiplication here, so it's going to be multiplication there. This one is like 10, 11, no, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So then what do we get? Well, we have negative 4, because we're multiplying. Negative 4i times the square root of 7. And there we have it. Letter B is exactly number 8. Oops, I didn't mean that. And then, so it's like number 7 as well. And then A is like 5 and 6. So there you have it. That's all you got to do. Remember, if it's not a perfect square already, try and write it as a perfect square times something else. And then you can square root the perfect square. Let's real quick, let's try another one. What if we did 32? And it was like that. Let's make it negative just in case. If we had, well, the negative comes out as an I. 32, that's 4 times 8. But I can do better than this. I can actually do better. I can have 16 times 2. Because this is a perfect square, and the 2 isn't. So that would be actually 4 times the square root of 2. And there you go. That's it. That's all. Okay. Let's move on. Let's move on. Here it says add or subtract, and we've actually done this already as well. What we're going to do here is we're going to treat I like it's a variable, like it's x. So treat I like an x, or a variable. What does that mean? Well, I'm just going to combine like terms. This is a plus here, so I don't really need the parentheses. That's 9 plus 5i plus 11 plus 2i. I'm going to combine like terms. So, maybe I'll put bullet points there. The 9 and the 11, 9 plus 11, that's 20. And then the 5i and the 2i, that's 7i. There you go. That's it. That's all you're doing. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. This is called standard form. So I'll say that here. Standard form. And we have the imaginary part. This is called the imaginary part, because it has the I, that's all. And this is called the real part, because it does not have the I. That's called the real part. And that's standard form. It's just adding or subtracting. Let's do another one of those. That was easy. Let's do another. Yeah, I get excited about that one. Alright, let's see. What if I have... So that one was like number 21 and 23, 24... Shoot, 25 even. Let's do a subtraction. Let's do something easy, but still tiny bit different. So let's do with subtraction. And then I have 2 minus 9i. Alright, so let's see what happens here. Well, I'm going to add or subtract. Well, the first thing is I'm going to distribute this negative and change. Remember, it's exactly the same as what we've done already. So then we have 16 minus 9i minus 2 plus 9i. And then I combine like terms once again. 16 and minus 2, 16, 15, 14. And then negative 9i plus 9i. Oh, those cancel out. So there you go. That's it, just 14. You could write it like this, 14 plus 0i, but you don't need the 0i because that's nothing. But there you go, that's it. The real part is 14. There is no imaginary part. It canceled out. So what you want? What you want from me? Huh? Back off. Let's do one last example for this part of the video, and then we'll move on. We'll move on. Carry on. We'll carry on, my wayward son. So part C, like Moses. And then we have 16 minus, let's say, 2 minus... I don't think we need this many examples, but it should be fairly simple. Minus I. This is like a minus 1i, so be very careful about that. This is like number 27, 29, and 30. But again, I have a subtraction, so I will distribute that. And so I get 16 minus 2 plus 3i minus I. I'm treating this as a variable. It acts the same way, even though it's an imaginary number. So 16 minus 2 is 14. And 3 minus 1i, well, that's just 2i, and it's positive. I have the imaginary part, which is 2i, and the real part, which is 14. And that's all we have. That's all she wrote, huh? That's really easy. Okay, I'll be done with this video. More to come in the next one.